Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Aptos blockchain and Aptos token. By now you would have seen Aptos token in all the exchanges. I posted a Tamil video about it yesterday before it got launched and before the mainnet got launched. In fact, I've been posting about it even when the testnet was in progress. And as usual, disclaimer and warning, I'm not a financial advisor or investment expert. All my videos are just to share my learnings alone. Please do your own research and buy your tokens based on your own research, and never ever send your money to people who call themselves as professional brokers or investment advisors. Most of them have frauds. It's your money, you invest it. I keep repeating it because there's a lot of people who get targeted by comments and emails and they fall for it and they send their money or crypto to other people for investing and they lose all their tokens. And I'm publicly active on Twitter at the rate Chennai2London is my handle. Not just me, but if you're on Twitter, you'll probably get the information the fastest. So I'll use my Twitter thread that I had posted as a basis to cover what is Aptos. So by now you would have heard about Aptos or seen it in probably all major exchanges. So when I posted the video yesterday, it was about to be launched in Binance, and it's a long awaited L1 blockchain. First of all, it's a new blockchain. It's a new L1 blockchain. And they launched their mainnet recently and in the last week, and they are flooding the market with a new token called as Aptos, or APT is a token ticker, and Binance had launched it first and subsequently everybody else has followed. So what is special about this blockchain? Why is there so much noise about the blockchain? So a few months back there was a new blockchain that Facebook was developing, Meta was developing, called as the DM blockchain, previously called as Libra, and it was dropped from the plan after months of development. A lot of development effort had gone into this blockchain, or it was actually a stable coin that they were trying to create called Libra, and it got dropped by Facebook. And soon after the news came out that it is getting dropped by Facebook officially, the coding team, the team that was actually behind the project, they branched off. They came out of Facebook, they branched off, and they created a new project called Aptos based on all the work that Facebook had done for the DM blockchain. That's how the origination of Aptos started. So it's been in development for a few years, I should say, even though officially it was kicked off only earlier this year. And what is special about Aptos? Most of the L1 blockchains, even L2 blockchains for that matter, the programming languages that are used in blockchain development mostly is either Solidity or Python, and there are some which are created in Rust and Go, and there are some main programming languages. A few exceptions are there, like Cosmos SDK, which created its own programming language, but Aptos and DM, they created an entirely new programming language called Move, and it was also not EVM compatible, and they even published a brand new white paper about the Move programming language as such, and it came with its own nuances. And it was bold because most blockchains that are created today are made EVM compatible so that they can execute the EVM code. So blockchain are two types, right? One is a blockchain which cannot run a code, cannot run a smart contract like Bitcoin, and other Ethereum like blockchains which can run a smart contract, which has caused the DeFi revolution, which we have been covering in our channel quite regularly. And so Aptos as such was backed heavily by venture capitalists, and probably one of the most invested project in recent times by venture capitalists was Aptos. So before even Binance came in, there was already about $200 million of funding, and eventually they reached about $350 million plus funding. And if you compare it to, like, Shardium's first venture capital investment was $18 million, and even some of the most talked about Solana and Avalanche, they all had less than $100 million in terms of the venture capital investment. So $350 million was quite huge, substantial investment that was done during the testnet itself, and it probably had one of the most active testnet development in recent days. Compared to some of the other blockchains, the amount of development support that Aptos had was probably much higher in comparison to projects like Avalanche, Polygon, and so many other ones. And they created something very unique, even though there were other chains which created concepts like Canary Chain, which incentivize the testing of testnets. They actually created a proper incentivized testnet, which was a promise for the users who actually log into their blockchain or who use their blockchain and use their testnet ecosystems, that they will get an airdrop once the mainnet got launched, and once Aptos token gets listed, that they will be getting a free airdrop. So this created a lot of hype, and there were thousands and thousands of users, almost 200,000 plus users on their testnet, and there was a huge expectation for the mainnet launch because there was an incentive for them when the mainnet gets launched that they are going to get free Aptos tokens. So this was again, it achieved two purposes. One, they had mass testing done, and they had a large ecosystem that was being supported by this testing, and also incentivized testing. So there are about already before even the mainnet launched, during the testnet phase itself, there are 100 plus projects that got lined up from decentralized exchange to NFT to gaming. You name it, there was probably a blockchain project that has been written for Aptos in the testnet. And this is a phenomenal achievement because it's not EVM compatible. Because in most of the other blockchains, because they're EVM compatible, you can probably reuse some components or reuse some of the code. But it's an entirely different coding platform with Move, and that means that it had to be written from scratch, and it cannot be just forked from an existing project. Most decentralized exchanges, they just fork from Uniswap or fork from an existing decentralized exchange, and they can easily launch it. So this is a brief overview of the ecosystem. So as you can see, this is not an exhaustive list, but just a brief overview of the ecosystem. And if I put an ecosystem map like this for a blockchain that is already live, like Kronos, for example, it would probably be comparable to a blockchain that has already been live for more than a year. And if you look at the decentralized wallets, because Aptos is not EVM compatible, it won't work on MetaMask. So if you look at the number of decentralized wallets alone, there are probably about 14 plus wallets, 14 different wallets that have been created. That tells you the volume of effort that has gone into blockchain development. So from a blockchain and crypto perspective, any new innovation that is backed by a competent group, it always brings something new. And mass adoption is something that will only come when you make it more and more simple. Like for example, iPhone, even though there was so much of smartphone concepts that were there before, like with Nokia and with BlackBerry and everything, iPhone was probably the concept that brought smartphone to the end users much easier than the other ecosystems before it. So that was a innovation. So we are still waiting for an innovation like this, and Aptos is promising somewhere around 160,000 transactions per second TPS, and compared to the other blockchains like Ethereum 1.0, obviously Ethereum is promising more TPS after the merge, but if you compare it with the other blockchains that are in existence, this is significantly higher in terms of the execution speed, in terms of the TPS that Aptos is promising, and the sustainability and the reliability that they're promising. It's all promises right now, it's all in white papers, but it looks like a blockchain that has been built from scratch and that has been built with all the problems in mind, which means that if they can meet these expectations, if they can meet these promises, this could be a significant entry into the world of blockchains. It could be a significant new L1 blockchain. And as we have seen already, the ecosystem is thriving even on the testnet stage, and it is going to get adopted by all the major blockchain exchanges, all the major crypto exchanges, because they're all venture capitalists who have invested in Aptos. So let's look at the tokenomics and the price, right? So when I posted it, it was more of a prediction. By now you would see the actual price of the token itself, but from a comparison perspective, there are about 1 billion APT tokens. Not everything is getting released. There is a cliff that is happening, which means that only a portion of it is getting released to start. But just for comparison, if you take 100 billion tokens, which XRP has at 47 cents, then the XRP's fully diluted market value is about $47 billion. So if you compare XRP, which is like one of the top 10 cryptocurrency L1 blockchains, then APT will probably be around $47-48. But if you compare something like a Solana, which is a comparable L1 blockchain, which is at $30 and $330 million circulating supply, which is having a fully diluted value of about $10 billion. A comparable value would be probably about $10 or lesser for APT for 1 billion tokens. Again, there is a lot that is going to go into play. It's not just just based on what other blockchains and what their circulating supply and fully diluted value is going to It's just a comparison, it's just a speculation, just to have some sort of a benchmark to say what could be the price of APT when it launches. And obviously there's burning of tokens that needs to be taken into account. There's vested supply that needs to be taken into account, which means that there's some tokens which are not going to be released for the next 12 months, and there are some tokens which are going to be released over a period of 4 years. There is also the concept of burning for the fees of the transactions that are going to happen on the decentralized exchanges and DeFi projects. So there's a lot that needs to be taken into account, where the supply is going to reduce and thereby the price is also going to get affected. But the main point, or the main issue, is the initial supply. How is it being airdropped, or how is it being distributed to the people? That's the question. So 51% they are saying is going to go to the community, but a part of it is probably also going to go to the investors like FTX and Binance, who are probably going to get the large portion of the initial liquidity, because they have been the biggest venture capitalists, and they are going to get a significant portion, which means that they are going to be setting the initial price as market makers. And there will be a huge dump. There will be a huge dump on the retail investors that will happen in the initial days. This is my expectation. And like I said, I posted this even before it got launched. And that's what probably happened as well. I'll post you a small comparison of what happened in Binance a few minutes later. But the problem with this launch is that it's not a fair price launch. Nobody knows what the initial price is going to be, and people are going to buy it without having any clue exactly what happened with SHIB. For example, if you've seen my WazirX, if you've seen my episode on SHIB, how the price was sold for like 100 times the actual price on WazirX, and why the market makers were allowed to do that, or were able to do that, you will understand that's exactly what is happening here as well, because the market makers have got the initial liquidity. Nobody else can sell it, which means that they are going to set the price, and the price is nowhere going to be near the normal or actual price that is going to happen after a few days, or after the price settles down. So the market makers being able to control the price is going to be chaos to start with, at least. So TLDR, too long, did not read, what's the summary, buy or not buy. So personal opinion, like I said, I posted it before the launch happened. I am not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. First of all, from a centralized exchange, there is going to be huge volatility, and the hype and the massive swings in a token getting launched on all major exchanges is always going to create a hype. People are going to buy in without having any knowledge about Aptos, without even knowing what Aptos as a token is doing. They're going to buy it. And Aptos is an L1 blockchain and is more aimed on decentralized finance, because it is coming out with the big ecosystem of decentralized finance. So I'm not going to buy it in a centralized exchange. I'm going to wait for it to settle down, wait for the decentralized exchange projects to kick in, wait for the DeFi rewards to kick in, wait for the liquidity rewards to kick in, liquidity mining, and all the DeFi projects are going to determine what is the value of Aptos on a longer run. So if I have mentioned before as well that I have already invested during the testnet phase itself, I have already invested in some of the Aptos projects. So in September, for example, I posted about Sea Shrine NFT project, which is actually a project of Ibis's Bay, which is an NFT marketplace in the Kronos blockchain. And Ibis's Bay is doing really well in the Kronos blockchain, and it's one of the leading NFT marketplaces in the Kronos blockchain. And so their team is a hugely respected team, and you can rely on them. So the way to pick projects in Aptos is to follow somebody who's already launched a project and who's got a benchmark set to compare against. So you can actually go to seashrine.io right now, and you can they have a unique minting mechanism where you can mint it on Ethereum, and they have proposed a path forward where you will see it in OpenSea. And you can transfer it from, you can burn it in Ethereum, and you can get it in the Aptos, which is kind of innovative the way that they proposed it. Obviously, the detailed mechanics are yet to be posted. Again, this is not a promotion of Ibis's Bay. This is an example of some of the projects that I've invested in Aptos. So if you can't use MetaMask, what can you use? Martian is one of the wallets. There are a lot of Aptos wallets. Martian is a wallet that I use. So if you click on martian.xyz, and if you open the wallet, Again, it's very similar. You can enter a password and say that I'm creating a new wallet, and it will give you a 12-word recovery phrase that you are aware of if you've already used MetaMask like wallets, and you note down this wallet and you continue. The easiest thing is it comes loaded with all the testnet and the mainnet options. So if you actually, once you have created the wallet and you open the wallet like your MetaMask or like any other DeFi wallet, you can actually see, if you list down the blockchains, you can actually see all the testnet, devnet, mainnet already being listed. So it's a very convenient way that you don't have to enter all the information and add the blockchain. And registering a new token is exactly similar. You can enter the contract address and do that. So if you followed my videos from episode 24, you will know exactly how to operate using the blockchain, Aptos blockchain, and do the DeFi here. And finally, just as I had predicted, you can see the wild swing that happened when the token got listed in Binance. It went up almost to $59, and then it got dumped back to about $7 or below $7. Even though Binance is showing 24-hour low of lower than that, I think from a transaction perspective, I was only able to see that it went down to about $7.3. So it fell from like nearly $59 where the market makers listed it, and it got dumped to the retail investors in $59, $40, $19, and now it's trading around $7.3. And we probably need to wait and watch, where it's going to settle down. And like I said, I'm going to wait till the DeFi projects kick in, and then probably see if it's worth investing in. So hopefully this was useful to you. If you've been wondering what Aptos was, it gave you some sort of a background. Until next time, thank you. Bye.